What's up, everyone out there in internet land, and welcome to episode 466 of the Straight Shooters, available wherever podcasts are found. My name is Vaughn Johnson, and I'm joined as always by my main man, Pots and Pans, Nick Piccone of Crossing Broad, and we have yet another fantastic show ahead of us here on episode 466. It is a deep dive. We are diving deep into an interesting show. It is World Championship Wrestling Capital Combat from May of 1990. Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about with Capital Combat. But before we get into the current day nonsense and everything else on this podcast, I got to do my weekly check-in on my main man, Pots and Pans. Nick, how are you on this Friday afternoon, my good brother?
Man, we got AJ Brown out of here. We also have the season premiere of Love Island, which has a couple that are big Eagles fans. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out the next few weeks. There's been 3 episodes so far as of this recording. They were a little rocky. That couple was a little rocky in the last episode. So I'm hoping, the latest one that drops, hopefully will end better than the relationship between the Eagles and AJ Brown.
Look, for one, isn't one of the Love Island contestants a Philly, like a local cop, not a Philly cop, but a local area cop, right? And then like the police chief is mad that they're on the show, right? Isn't that?
Oh, is it?
I think that's the story.
I know there's like 3 local people.
Yeah,
I forget where the other ones. I know one's
from
Philly,
in the Inquirer.
One's from Cape May, and then the other one.
Okay, we just story on the Inquirer about a cop who's on the show who's from the area. Let me look this up real quick.
I know the cop. There's a cop his name is Sean, but I guess I didn't catch whether he was.
So he is a local cop where he's from Bethlehem. So it's Bethlehem.
Okay.
And he's on the show, and the mayor is like not happy with him being on the show, which I think is hilarious. So
I feel bad for that
his
guy.
name is Sean.
Yeah, his lady left him.
He's doing it.
His lady left him.
Oh, damn.
24
That's
hours.
Crazy.
24 hours. So.
24-hour relationship.
Yeah. He's still there, though. There's still single people there. No one's gotten booted yet. Still early in the season. But, this is the show that, they drop episodes almost every night. I think they do like 5 per week. It's kind of crazy. And the first episode dropped Tuesday. We're recording this on a Friday. Before the Friday episode drops. So looking forward to seeing, I'm all about this Eagles couple. So let's see what happens with them. They're a little rocky, but, it's still early.
Look, our boy Sean Rifle.
Melon Sincere is the Eagles couple.
Okay. All right. Well, the mayor of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania is pissed at Sean Rifle. I don't know how you say his last name. But he apparently resigned from his position with the police department. He didn't just take a leave,
right? Like they would have been like, "No, you're not going on a TV show."
He's disappointed. The mayor's disappointed because they wasted tax dollars training him, and he said, "Bye." I don't know why I find that funny. I guess he's like, "Look, if I get on here, I'm on."
I wonder if he knows that.
I don't think he cares. Like, I'm either starting a podcast. My Instagram gonna be popping. Love Island is a popular show. We're talking about it right now. So like, you would assume the Instagram gonna be popping after this. He can make appearances. Like, I remember when I was in college, people was making appearances back in 08, 09 from like the Bret Michaels show or whatever it was, the Bret Michaels Rock of Love. They would make appearances at a bar in Indiana, Pennsylvania. I don't know how much they'd make, maybe a couple grand, I guess. I don't know, but people would show up to see them. Like, that's the bare minimum, I guess. I don't know, but. He said, bye. It's hilarious.
Seems like a nice dude, too. So, but, it's all a facade, usually. But, sometimes you need some messy TV to entertain yourself.
Oh, look, I'm not above it, okay? I watch plenty of Love is Blind, obviously. I don't watch Love Island. I haven't watched Love Island yet, but I've watched plenty of Love is Blind and, Married at First Sight. I've watched plenty of that, so I'm not above it. Speaking of, also you mentioned AJ Brown.
I did. Talk about messy.
that was messy. Apparently, I don't know. It just seems like a whole thing about what is it about? We don't,
Right.
we don't know. It's just a big secret. I will say, it's funny that he came out as like this big Patriots fan this week. Because I knew
rug.
that. Yeah, but I knew that from like the moment he got in the league that he was a Patriots fan.
Right, yeah.
I don't think I've ever told the story on the air, but there was a time when I was working for the Eagles. Obviously, I worked in the social media department in 2019. Every team brings in their top 30 prospects into the building to get a sense of them, talk to them, get to know them or whatever, and they bring them around. And obviously, AJ Brown coming out of Ole Miss was a tremendous prospect and was obviously among the top 30 for the Eagles back in 2019. And they brought him into the building, and so he's in the building, and I'm sitting outside the draft room one day and just hanging out. I'm pretty sure I was waiting to do a selfie video with Jason Peters, of all people.
Oh, wow.
So trying to get him, because I think he signed a new contract, which I'm not sure whether it was like a pay bump or a pay cut. That we'll leave that up in the air. So there's that, depending on how he felt about that would depend on, I guess, if he did the video. Also, Jason Peters never did anything social media wise.
Right.
He's nice. He was always nice, never mean, but he just didn't do anything. And but he did this video somehow. I'm stunned to this day that I somehow got Jason Peters to do this selfie video one time. I don't think he's ever done it ever again. But as I'm waiting, because Jason Peters is in the draft room, I'm outside of the room. He's talking to his agent, just finalizing the details of his contract. That's not for me and the photographer with the Eagles to consume. That's his business. So we're outside the room, and we're just sitting there patiently waiting, because that's what you do a lot of times when you work for at least the Eagles. I don't know about other NFL teams. Sometimes you hurry up and wait. Let's get upstairs and get to Jason Peters. Oh, wait, we got to wait. Let's get outside and greet this person as they arrive, and then we got to wait. Right? So we're hurrying up and waiting again, and we're waiting. And as we're waiting, AJ Brown comes through with a PR person, and he looks over to where we're sitting and looks in our direction and says, "Y'all should take that down." And we're like, "Take what down? What is he talking about?" And I look up behind me, and there's a poster on the wall, some artwork on the wall in the building of Alshon Jeffrey catching a touchdown pass in Super Bowl 52 over the New England Patriots. AJ Brown goes, "Ha ha, y'all should take that down." He joked about it. And it's like, who is this guy? I didn't even know who he was at that point. I think I knew who he was, but it's just like, oh, okay, well, I hope he doesn't go to another team not named the Patriots, because he's going to stop rooting for them right away, because they run the league right now. They're the ones holding everybody else back from winning Super Bowls. Remember, this is 2019. Yeah. The Patriots just came off their 6th championship.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl the year after they lost to us, right?
Exactly. So, the Patriots fatigue is real at this point. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is like, can we get somebody else? And then we got the Chiefs. I was like, damn, another dynasty. But somebody else, please, not the Patriots. So, yeah, interesting stuff there with AJ Brown. But
listen, I won't forget the way he balled out for us, but I'm good on him. I'm glad he's gone. It just felt like a headache. Even when they won the Super Bowl and he posted that Instagram, caption of not being fulfilled, and even then I was like, man, really? I don't even think the parade had happened yet.
That's funny.
That's just, I'm like, really? I didn't care much about it because, dude, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. I don't care about what anyone says. They're the champions. We're going to enjoy this for as long as we can before the next season starts. But it's like that stuff, it sticks in your head because you're like, okay, I need to look past this because the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. And then when stuff like this happens and it just goes downward, it just sticks in your craw, man. It's frustrating.
I get it, and from a fan standpoint, I get it because you're thinking about what's in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Exactly.
You're not caring about the individual. You're caring about the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't care who's out there, as long as they win. And I know that because look at other teams and the players that they have employed over the decades of the NFL, and you see some pretty bad dudes, and you'll have a lot of people who have bought their jerseys and will still wear it to this day. So you don't care who's out there as long as they're playing well, right? Just play well and win. But if you're the individual, if you're AJ Brown, and if you're like, hey, man, I think I'm the best, but I'm not able to do that here. And yeah, I won a championship, and then you go, that was cool, but that's it? Like, I don't really get the most enjoyment out of that. I get the enjoyment out of terrorizing cornerbacks. That's what I love to do. I love dominating. He literally said that in that statement, right? I get excitement out of the hunt of dominating another human being. I'm not saying I am that type of competitor, but I can see where he's coming from. If that's what you want to do,
you do that in flag football, don't you?
I mean, I do, and it's great. I get it. Like, this is insane. I can only imagine what it's like when you're in front of 70,000 people and you're making millions of dollars doing it too. When I do it in front of no one, it feels amazing. To route somebody up and go down the field, catch it over them, boom, touchdown, 60 yards, let's go. It's great, even when no one's around. All right? There's no documentation that I did that other than my memory and other people's memory who was there. But, like, I can imagine how intoxicating that could be if you're AJ Brown, right? And that's what he wants to do. Winning a championship, once you do it, I guess for him was like, that's dope. But, like, yeah, that's cool. But he feels like he's not reaching his potential, and I can understand that. I think that's the word on the street. I don't know if that's what he actually felt, but, like, if I felt like a place was holding me back from reaching my individual potential, no matter how successful the company was, I probably want to leave.
I understand that point, but then you have the games, especially this past season, where he's being literally force-fed the ball, getting his stats, but then they're not winning these games.
I feel you.
And
I feel you.
You wonder, like,
I don't think,
winning.
I don't think that was the reason, though. You can put many reasons as to why they would lost those games.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't think AJ Brown and his lack of production.
Scoring is better than not scoring. But
right. I mean, if you're going to live and die with something, you live and die with a guy like AJ Brown, I guess, right?
Right. And here's the thing: as good as those stats were for him, he left a lot of stats on the field. It really felt like you watch him this past year. It's like, wow, that's doesn't seem like a typical AJ Brown. Play where he either drops the ball, goes through his hands, or he quits on a route, stuff like that. He barely gives effort on running plays, and it's just like, how much does that affect, like, the possibility of a big play happening, and that's where he lost me, like, just seeing that, and it's clear as day. I was willing to look past all the BS off the field because they were winning. They won the title. It's like, just win games. That's, as a fan, that's all you really care about, man. Like, I don't care how it looks, which is why I didn't care. That Rams game when they came back, that crazy comeback, we all kind of thought, okay, maybe the offense will shift, and it never did. But they were still winning some games, too. So it's like, all right, well. They
won 11 games last year.
Yeah, maybe eventually, they'll figure it out. They just never did. Same story in 2023.
Yeah. But if a bad season is 11 wins, you know how many teams are killed to have an 11-win season?
Yeah, man.
And that's a bad season. It's like, ooh, 11? And no playoff wins? I'm not saying you shouldn't have higher expectations. I'm not saying that. The expectation should be high. But it's just like, it is funny to hear. It's like,
it is.
11-win season is like, ugh.
And,
we didn't win a playoff game?
Yeah, and before 2017, we would have taken it, 9 times out of 9.
Right. People still love that 2013. That 2013 team that didn't win the playoff game. People still talking about that team. People still talking about the 2010 team with Vic that didn't win the playoff game.
Yeah.
People still love that team. Won a division, didn't win the playoff game, but people still love that 10-win. I think they went 10-6.
I think they did. Yeah.
They went 10-6.
They lost to Green Bay, right?
People still like that 08 team that went like 9-7 that went to the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
How about the '06
Well,
team that beat the Giants in the playoffs, and they were like 9-7?
Some of those teams, you remember the runs they had because they
That's
didn't
fair.
really start off great. They weren't dominant, but they had
And they won playoff games.
Yeah,
Some of them won playoff games at least.
They had like 5, 6, 7 wins in a row. There was one year they won 9 in a row, and it reminded me of the 2024 team when they won. Coming off the bye week, they won like 9 in a row, maybe 10 in a row.
9, 10 in a row. Yeah,
So,
something like that.
like we remember those streaks and those games too about crazy endings or just total domination type stuff. And I remember just like you get enthralled with that stuff, man. It's like just win. And the Eagles were starved forever, before 2017. So we again this is I always hate when people like talk about this, especially on like sports radio as like a topic or even on social media. But it is a football town, Philly. But I also think it's like a sports town. But it's hard to be, baseball 365 days a year, hockey 365 days a year, basketball 365 days a year. Football is definitely 365 days a year here.
In this town, for sure. Even things that happen in the offseason will have people going nuts.
Yeah.
Remember when the Eagles signed Dennis Dixon when
Who?
Chip Kelly was the head coach? You don't remember that?
What did he do?
He was a
play?
quarterback.
Really?
Dennis Dixon was a quarterback at Oregon under Chip Kelly, and he was really good. But he hadn't really done anything in the NFL. And then Chip Kelly becomes the head coach of the Eagles, and he signs Dennis Dixon. And everybody's like, what does this mean? Oh, my God. Maybe because I was at the Inquirer at the time, and I remember seeing all the chatter about it on social media. It's like, oh, my God, is Dennis Dixon going to be Chip Kelly's future? Like, what's the deal here? And I don't think he made it out of training camp. I don't think he made the active roster, bro. But people around here, live and die with everything the Eagles do. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. I'm sure that's the way with various teams throughout the country and other leagues as well. That's just how it is around here in Philly.
Well, I'm just adding, I didn't really care much about the Patriots after we beat them in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't hate them, but I think, I'm going to have to add a team to my hate watch list now.
Your hatred?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to hate you again. That's really
Listen,
funny.
like, this Knicks run is killing me, man. It really is killing me. Like, I need something to hate.
Look, I will say, I feel like, Knicks fans, they came here and acted up in Philly during that sweep, like as if like Sixers fans were like really bothered about it. But I will say, New York fans have suffered quite a bit over the years.
Oh,
Just
no.
let's not forget that the Eagles signed Saquon Barkley and he ran for 2,000 yards and won the Super Bowl in his first season after leaving the Giants. Okay, that just happened. Okay, so I understand that you're like, man, those damn Knicks fans. I hate to see one of our rivals win a championship, but like, it just happened the other way around, like not that long ago, in spectacular fashion, right? It's one thing because it's all the Villanova players, and one of them, the Sixers literally drafted one of them and traded him on draft night.
For someone who's not even on the team anymore, like that was on the team, 1 year, 2 years, maybe?
Look, I understand, but like just know that like this happened the other way around not that long ago, in spectacular fashion. Okay, with Saquon Barkley leaping over people backwards and then rushing for 2,000, and then they won the Super Bowl, another one, and destroyed the Chiefs.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, going through for a three-peat, another dynasty team that.
Exactly.
That's the thing about the two Eagles Super Bowls, man. Like, just you beat the Patriots and Tom Brady, and you beat the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, man. It doesn't get any sweeter, a road to a Super Bowl than that.
Just know there are peaks and valleys to this sports fandom thing. Just know that.
Yeah.
So
I'll be paying close attention to AJ Brown's stats.
I'm sure a lot of Eagles fans
he'll
are.
probably I don't think he's washed, but I also don't think Jalen's going to be, like, that much worse off either. I don't know. I feel like people...
We'll see.
This is like the social media age where it's, one or the other, and it's really not how we should look at this type of situation. So
It depends on the scheme. If the scheme is, like, as good as it's cracked up to be, and it may not matter. If it's like the 49ers or the Rams, they don't have, well, they have a Puka Nakua, I guess. He's really good. But like, they got Devontae Smith, the Eagles do. So we'll see. And then, of course, they got Saquon Barkley. He can run the ball like the 49ers have Christian McCaffrey. He doesn't, I know Saquon is the pass catcher that Christian McCaffrey is, but he can tote that thing. You know that. He can tote that rock, tote that pill. So we'll see. But let's get to this wrestling stuff. What's going on in the world of wrestling? Pro wrestling. What's happening? Well, Jacob Fatu lost again. And now he is just a member of the bloodline like everybody else. And I said it on that last episode of 465. I'll say it again. I'm not feeling this new bloodline story. I need something else.
Yeah, we needed like a different cog or something. Like something else.
It's just not working for me, man. And the problem is I like Roman Reigns. I think he's good, obviously, in the spot of world champion. He's a good choice to have, but like the story itself is just not working for me. It's just not. I don't think it's helping anyone else around Roman Reigns, which I think is the whole point of putting people around Roman Reigns, is to help them and elevate them. And I don't think this has elevated the Usos. If anything, it feels like a regression for them, and it feels like the same for Jacob Fatu, even though he's sort of reluctant. But like now he's just does whatever Roman Reigns says.
It's like just doing what Jay did a few years ago. It doesn't. It just seems like like that character. It's not, to me. It doesn't. It's not like Jacob Fatu. It's just like whatever Jay did.
Is Jay Uso again? Are we getting the same arc? That took a while. But like we also saw it already, and it worked out pretty great with Jay Uso. Mm-hmm. He became super over as a result of that story. Like, the first time they did the Bloodline, people benefited from being around Roman Reigns. Whether it was the Usos, specifically Jay, or Sami Zayn, who wasn't doing a whole lot before he got with the Bloodline. That's why he was in the Bloodline. And then look what happened as a result. So, I'm not feeling it, bro. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling Jacob Fatu literally bending the knee to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It's a tough watch for me right now. In the main event of Raw on Monday, we had Braun Breaker losing to Seth Rollins. So there's that. Seth Rollins getting his revenge on Braun Breaker, who still has a King of the Ring qualifying match coming up, which I assume he will win. But because I guess he lost here, does that mean he potentially goes to the final and defeat potentially a Seth Rollins in the final, get his win back?
So then he'll be 2-1. I mean, that's what I kind of anticipated would happen. And then they had the main event on Raw, and I'm just like, oh, crap. I know there were rumors Braun might be hurt, but I haven't seen any updates as of this recording. But he was like clutching his arm or something. But hopefully he's not hurt, and he could use like a big win. I thought that was
use one.
The Seth one, but then a couple weeks later, Seth just gets it back, and I thought maybe I would have been fine with like a King of the Ring final with that, and then setting up the rubber match at SummerSlam or whatever. But now it just seems like we're not going to do that, just based off. Even if they do go with Braun and Seth in the final, given that Seth that random win just on a Raw, I'm just like, what are we doing with these young guys? It feels like Kurt, Benoit, and Jericho all over again in 2001. Or 2000, I should say.
Yeah, it was 2000. Yeah, when they had them all fully loaded and beat them all that's on the same night. You mentioned the King of the Ring. We do have Obafemi advancing to the semifinals with the King of the Ring. So I don't know what the deal is with him and Brock Lesnar, but for right now, Obafemi is on to the semifinals of the King of the Ring after a pretty fun match that they had on Raw where he, all three of his opponents, Penta, Solo Sikoa, Carmelo Hayes, attack him during his entrance, and then he dispatches all three of them, and then he finishes his entrance. He did his pose. He gets them all out the way. And then he eventually won the match. And so here we are. I don't know if we're going to get a rubber match between him and Brock anytime soon. If we do, I would assume, I guess it costs him. He costs Brock the match. I don't know why Brock would do that, but storyline-wise, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But here we are. Obafemi in the semifinals of the King of the Ring. We're recording this on Friday, obviously, and SmackDown is, I think, is still airing right now. But we do know who has advanced in the King of the Ring, one of the other King of the Ring matches that's taking place on SmackDown. Who won this match again? I'm sorry, man. I know who it was. It was It was Ricky Saints won the match, right?
Well, that wasn't. No, that was him versus Carmelo Hayes. It was like a 1-on-1.
Oh, geez.
Raquel Rodriguez
was King of the Ring match.
Won, the women's Queen of the Ring.
Yes, and Io Sky won on Raw.
Yeah.
I do know that. Io Sky advanced to the semifinals on Raw.
It was JC Jane, Kiana James, and Bailey in the match with Raquel Rodriguez, who won. And as of now, yeah, we're just, those are so far, as of this recording, the
yes
results.
Yes, because they are overseas and they're shooting these shows earlier in the day, so they're airing at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I guess. I don't know, depending on where you are in the world, it might be different, but our time it is 2 p.m. And like you said, Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez have advanced to the semifinals. They will face each other, actually, in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. So there's that. We'll see what happens there. I'm still confused as to what's going on in a lot of ways with Obafemi, but here we go.
And as of this recording, the Damian Priest, Trick Williams, Dominic Mysterio, and Braun Breaker tournament match is either going on now or about to happen. So by the end of this, we'll probably be able to see who won that one.
Okay, let's keep an eye on that. We also know that Gunther is demanding a rematch against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE championship.
Now that's silly. That's silly because nothing happened. He looked like a goofball. He put his leg under the rope, but then took it out himself. So
I thought he put it on the rope.
It was under the rope. And then before the 3 count, he just swung it right back into the ring, like without touching the rope. It's like, what? Like, what? That's the type of stuff that it's like, don't insult my intelligence. Just say you goofed up, and why can't Gunther just say, I goofed up, give me one more shot, instead of like demanding a rematch because he got screwed? Like, you really didn't get screwed, man, but whatever.
Well,
if it was the 3 count and his leg was still under the rope, then you might have a, beef there. But I don't know, man. This is why wrestling sometimes gets under my skin.
I can tell. Any other current day nonsense? I don't think there's really anything else to cover this particular week. We've covered a lot already.
We got. Well, did anything happen on Dynamite? I don't even know.
MJF defended the title against Roosh. Did have that.
MJF.
I did love the
knee, but, whatever.
I did love the thing they did with Leo Rush, who I think is doing tremendous stuff in AEW. As this like weird, kind of scary character.
But he guy from Lord of the Rings.
I don't know. I think he's got some of that in there for sure. But he comes out while the conglomeration is leaving the ring, and they see him come out, and they just freeze. They're like, if you don't move, I guess he doesn't see you. And then he walked past the ball, and then he turned around, and then they stopped again. So like I'm thinking like this could be something here. I think this is fun.
It could be. I did see the backstage vignette, of him kind of going from one end of the camera to the other, making like I think it was an umbrella, right? He was holding an umbrella or something, and just like moving, with that face, and everyone behind him just like, what the heck? So that's I'm in on that.
He might have something with this. I mean, he's been doing it for a while now, but like, I like it. I'm on board with this version of Leo Rush for sure. All right, are you ready for our deep dive into Capital Combat? Bum, 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 bum. Oh, that's Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry. I'm doing the wrong theme.
And it's capital with an AL, not OL, like the WWE's Capital Punishment. That ended with OL. So,
yeah,
this is crazy. 1990.
Crazy stuff.
May 1990.
1990.
Before I didn't even know WCW existed.
Well, are you ready to dive deep into that time period?
Let's do it. This is season 1, episode 1.
The only season, the only episode of Capital Combat, because after you watch this show, you'll see why they didn't do it again. You'll understand why. But WCW Capital Combat : Return of RoboCop took place on May.
I'm sorry, like everybody who's like Tony Schiavone be like, "Welcome to Capital Combat: Return of RoboCop," just cracks me up that they have to say the whole entire thing.
That is the official title of this show, and that show took place on May 19th, 1990. It took place at the DC Armory in Washington, D.C. What the hell is a DC Armory?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that? That's a good question. That building opened way back in 1941 during World War II as the national headquarters for the DC National Guard, according to its website.
Oh.
So there you go. It was the site of the first ever inaugural ball back in 1942 for President Harry S. Truman. And they held it there for every inaugural ball through the Obama administration. Of course, things changed once Trump took over. They're building a different ballroom these days in D.C. You can look into that if you're curious. But the building has a capacity of 10,000, but only 7,500 were there on this night, according to good old Wikipedia. But where are we in the year of our Lord of 1990? Man, I was an infant. I know that's where I was. So I don't even know where I was. Where were you, Nick, in 1990? Do you remember?
Maybe I was about to graduate pre-K.
Oh, man.
Either pre-K or kindergarten.
Is this the earliest show we've ever done a deep dive on?
Didn't we do one in the 80s before, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe. We got to look up. We got to look it up.
Yeah, I was very... 5 years old. Not even 5 years old. I was 4 at this time, so maybe I wasn't pre-K. You know what? I graduated kindergarten in 91 because I moved to South Jersey in 91 late in the year, and I was in first grade. So, yeah, I had to have been towards the end of my pre-K school year when this event happened. But this event also was like a month after WrestleMania 6. So
yeah.
I don't exactly remember the time frame I watched, Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. I tell you, that was the first wrestling match and event I've ever seen was WrestleMania 6, and it was on tape. It wasn't live. So I don't know if it was in the summer, maybe later than this, or maybe it was in April, right after it happened. I don't know when I watched the tape over my babysitter's house, but yeah, so I had to me, like, WWF was it. Like, that was, like, the only wrestling. And I remember, like, through the years, I would, through the channels or whatever, like, WCW would come on, and it just looked so second-rate compared to the WWF. Like, the production, the presentation. WWF had lights. It didn't look as dark as some of these WCW events. So that was, like, that's one of the big things that stuck out to me. In these WCW shows. So it's funny because I would get like merchandise, like some action figures from WCW and some cards. Like I remember one trading card I had Doom in it with Teddy Long, and I was like, I remember seeing them on TV here and there, but that had to be like 91 or something because Ron Simmons won the title in 92. So definitely had to be before that. But yeah, this is like a crazy era to go back to because I remember some things about it. I remember Sting and some of like the face paint he had. The Steiner brothers, I actually remember being in WCW, but some of the other stuff, yeah, it was too too like early for me. I don't even think I like RoboCop. I remember having like a toy RoboCop. I don't know how that movie was not like PG, but
No, it is
like,
not.
They had like merchandise for kids, So yeah, I remember being like RoboCop guy back then. But I feel like if I had known that RoboCop was involved in this, I would have wanted to watch it somehow, but I did not, just because like nobody watched WCW that I was around, like ever.
Not at this time. Not at this time. It was a rough time for WCW. We are in the thick of the Jim Herd era of WCW. But you can't totally blame what happens here on him. This is not just Jim Herd. This is a collective effort from from Turner Broadcasting. And Ted Turner, too. I guess he was in charge of it, so he's partly responsible as well. But in WCW in 1990, like you said, we are coming off the heels of one of the biggest matches of all time between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. And how did WCW counter that? With RoboCop. That's how. Yeah, it was tough times for WCW. And while WWF was thriving, WCW was running the DC Armory. Okay.
I guess it didn't help that Sting was injured, so they were trying whatever they could to like keep him on TV, because that was their guy. That was their Hulk Hogan. So
pretty much, and it wasn't working out right now. But who the hell is RoboCop, and why the hell is he here at Capital Combat in 1990?
Is he from the area?
Oh boy. Well, let's go back a little bit to 1987 when the movie.
I watched this to prep for this as well, by the way.
Yes, and we're going to talk about it.
The first time I've ever
We're
watched
going to talk about it
from beginning to end.
We're going to talk about it a little bit, but the movie titled RoboCop hit theaters and was an immediate critical and financial success. However, if you've never seen the movie RoboCop, you'd think it was a typical cheesy action movie from the 1980s. And there were a lot of those back then. It's the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Cheesy and action and big and loud and bombastic. That was what people wanted. That's what people flocked to the movies for back during the 1980s. But RoboCop wasn't really that. And once the movie became a proven moneymaker, the character was also marketed as a children's hero. They even made a RoboCop cartoon at one point. So you would never know what this movie was based on just like what you saw here or what you saw in mainstream media. You had to actually see the movie. If you saw the actual movie, though, you'd know that silly rabbit, RoboCop isn't for kids. You'd never show this to a kid.
Nope.
No, absolutely not. RoboCop is rated R. Not rated R for RoboCop.
Blew my mind.
Right. Right. Rated R for restricted. Okay. And I told you, I think I might have told you on the air, you got to watch this movie. It is not for children. It is not to be taken lightly. RoboCop, the original one, is insane. It is incredible. It has tons of violence. So much violence in this movie. And is presented with so much gore. Somebody's arm gets shot off in the midst of this movie. It's the main character who gets murdered like 15 minutes in.
I was like, wait a second. I got the right movie? I didn't know what the hell. I backed out of it. I was like, what did I put on, man? Like,
no, you put on RoboCop. You found the movie you were looking for. And it's pretty dark, too, when you really think about what happens. What happens to the main character, Alex Murphy, what happens to him, and how he becomes the titular RoboCop, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah. It's not, the feel-good story I thought with my little RoboCop figure, action figure coming around with me. Like, I got RoboCop, yeah.
Oh, no. This is for big kids, not for little kids. All right? You got to put your critical thinking hat on for RoboCop. The movie is a lot of things, but me personally, were to boil it down, I think it is a satirical look at society as we knew it back in 1987 and a humorous commentary on where it could be going, right? Like today, like They Live, we talked about They Live. I think RoboCop, if it came out today, would be categorized as woke. But woke or not, it's awesome. Okay, I don't care what where you are in the world, if you don't like RoboCop, something wrong with you. Okay, okay, I'm just put it out there for you right now. If you don't like this movie, and I'm telling you, I'm not playing. Go back and watch it. It's out there somewhere on streaming. Check it out. Don't believe me if you want to. You're like, oh, RoboCop, get out of here. That's some cheesy. No, it's not. No, it's not. Nick, what did you think about RoboCop?
Man, I think we had the VHS, but I don't remember ever watching it. So, maybe my parents hid it until we were older and then put it back in the VHS case. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't what I expected. I didn't know like the plot going in, like what makes RoboCop a thing. I guess it was the police departments were being run too thin. Too many criminals, I guess, and they needed something like RoboCop or whatever. They had
a robot.
Their what was the first thing they tried, like malfunction and everything, and wound up killing one of the people that were like going to invest in it, I guess, or something. The politician. I don't even remember.
Look, it was, yes. For those who don't know, I guess I'll spoil the opening scene. It's been 35 years, so if you haven't seen it by now,
you're not gonna spoil anything.
Right, get on it. Too bad.
Or pause
You're bad
now,
for not
pause
seeing
now. Go watch RoboCop and then come back.
Exactly, and come back. But yes, the whole thing is about. Really, it's a lot of things going on. You got anti-corporation theming, you got gentrification theming, but the movie takes place in Detroit. But there's essentially two Detroits. There's old Detroit, which is the normal Detroit, and then there's new Detroit, which is pretty much owned by a private company. It's owned by private equity, and the company is called OCP. So they own essentially half of Detroit, essentially. But because they own so much of Detroit, they're building their own police force in Detroit. And they try it out with this robot at first that murders someone brutally in front of everyone during this presentation. It's like here's the first RoboCop prototype, and this goes and murders somebody real violently in the first 10 minutes of the movie. I mean, they shoot the daylights out this guy. It was bad, bro. It's as bad. It's like, you ever seen Training Day when Denzel gets shot up?
I do.
It's like, oh man, you need to watch it. But if you're listening, it's 10 times worse than that. It's bad, bro. It's gory. Okay. Does he fall out the window too? I think he might have.
I don't even know. I don't know. It was him, but they, you feel like maybe the acting would. They'd be more shocked, but it was just oh no, oh god, okay, well cover him up. Don't
please shut it down. Just shut it down. Also, tell Bob's wife that he is dead. Okay, he is gone. Okay, one of our prototypes shot him up real bad.
The other guy's I have an idea. So, and that his idea was eventually RoboCop, but it's just so funny that he was this is my opportunity.
Yes, I mean. Corporations, that's how they work. You gotta pivot fast because you got shareholders to
he pivoted in less than 1 minute.
Immediately, he saw that dead body. He's I know how we can fix this. Let's get a human being instead of just a robot that can malfunction. Human being with some sort of feeling in there. So eventually, they get a cop whose name is Alex Murphy. He gets also brutally murdered.
Yeah, dude, I swear, I did not see that coming at all. I thought he was just he wasn't gonna die, and they would just put the outfit on him or something.
No, he dies in horrific fashion, and Alex Murphy's got a wife and kid. It's tragic stuff. I mean, he essentially it's how somebody gets jumped, they get beat up with hands and feet. He got jumped with guns, bro. They shot him up. 4 people was lined up and shot him as he was on his knees, helpless. Shot his arm off, bro. It's bad. Again, horrifically violent movie. And then he's somehow living just enough that they save his brain to plop it into this robot. And now he's a science experiment. He's RoboCop now. Against his will. He didn't sign off on this. I don't think he did. And here he is. He has no memories of his family. His family is just yeah, Alex is dead, y'all. Sorry.
Right.
Not knowing that he's now a robot roaming the streets.
Covered half his face, so I guess if they saw him, they wouldn't recognize him.
Yeah, well, you got to watch the sequels to find out if they ever do. But Man,
I was thinking of watching RoboCop 2 because this was, basically an ad for RoboCop 2, but I have not watched that yet.
well, let's. I will say the first RoboCop again. If you haven't noticed, I think it's a classic, in my opinion. Classic film. Okay.
What's the toxic waste scene, man? That's
the best scene at the end
what
when
are
the
we
dude
doing?
comes out and he's like, "Oh no, help me!" and he's like melting from toxic waste. And they do a tremendous. I forget who did the special effects, but the special effects are mwah, and he's melting. Ugh. And then his homie is like, "Get out of!" He's driving like a truck. And he's trying to get out so his friend could help him in front of the truck. He's like, "Please help me." And his friend is like, "No." Excuse me. It's too good. He does not stop this truck and runs his man's over. And he explodes. It's tremendous stuff. Incredible stuff.
Nobody would have thought of this in 1987, man.
Man, I'm glad somebody did. I'm glad. Who is it? Paul Verhoeven, I think is the name of the director of the movie. Man, I gotta look it up now. I'm glad whoever thought of it, they thought of it because, again, one of my all-time favorite movies is RoboCop. Peter Weller, by the way, is the man who played Alex Murphy, but Paul Verhoeven, yes, he's the one who directed RoboCop. So whoever thought of it, though, thank you. Thank you.
Not the same guy who did live appearances, right? I think I've read that it wasn't the actor.
No, it was not Peter Weller.
Yeah.
Peter Weller's like, "No, sir, I'm good."
Yeah, Capital Combat had somebody in that
Somebody in a suit that was unwieldy, and he couldn't even go up steps. But let's go to, again, RoboCop, a classic. It's only got an 84% from critics and 84% from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is too low. Again, I can't say enough how much I like this movie. But the movie was a surprise hit. I wasn't alone. It was a surprise hit in 1987, and in Hollywood, that could only mean one thing: a sequel. And that brings us to 1990, as RoboCop 2 is slated to hit theaters in June of 1990.
Oh, perfect.
And Turner Broadcasting secured the distribution rights to RoboCop on TV.
Oh.
Which led to some pretty terrible TV shows. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. I don't know. But at this point, Turner wants to help promote the second movie, because obviously it would help them in the long run. What's the best way to do that, you ask? Promote RoboCop's triumphant return, obviously. Where does RoboCop return? Not on the big screen. No. At Capital Combat in WCW in the DC Armory. And the show is subtitled, The Return of RoboCop. Yeah. So yes, long before TKO was ever inserting themselves and inserting random celebrities into its main events, we had corporate influence in wrestling. That's nothing new, apparently. Turner Broadcasting was doing the same thing back in the day with RoboCop. They even put RoboCop on the poster of the show. I mean, he's in the subtitle. Why not?
Wild. That's wild. He's like, like if I looked at it, like you see like the Road Warriors there, but like I see RoboCop. You know, like the Road Warriors are in front of him, but they're totally secondary.
Yeah, totally secondary. And it says on the poster, "Hey, go see RoboCop 2 in theaters, y'all. Don't forget. This is why we're doing this. Please spend money to go see our movie." The second movie, by the way, it was good. It wasn't as good as the first one. It's a little more on the campy side. So if you want to check it out,
character development for RoboCop.
A little bit more.
Okay.
You watch. I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Okay.
I will say though, I don't like it as much as the first, but I don't think it's a bad movie.
It's because there's not as much gore.
No, there's still a decent amount of gore, actually. There's a real, there's honestly like a horror movie scene in that movie. That's real bad. Like, honestly, it's pretty violent. And even that when I watched it as a kid, I saw RoboCop 2 before I saw the original RoboCop.
Oh, wow.
So the scene, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll be like, oh my God, people got shot up in this scene real bad. Like, real bad. You'll know. I don't have to even say any more. But On this night, like you said, it was not Peter Weller who plays Alex Murphy / RoboCop. It's just a guy in a suit. And the suit itself was unwieldy, like I said earlier. Apparently, they couldn't even walk up steps
Do we
with the
think
suit
it
on.
was a contracted wrestler for WCW?
Heck if I know. I don't know. But it wasn't Peter Weller. That's what we do know. But we get Tony Schiavone to open the show. He runs down some of the matches, on his opening. And he sends it to the Armed Forces Day festivities, which I didn't know was a thing. Armed Forces Day. I just figured it's Memorial Day or like 4th of July, but we have an Armed Forces Day. No word on who performed the rendition of the national anthem. I don't know. At least Tony Schiavone said it. I have no idea what he said though. I couldn't tell what he said. I rewound it multiple times. Like I can't tell what he said. I had to close. I think I had to close captioning on. I don't know. I couldn't tell what he said. But we do have Jim Ross and Bob Caudle on the call to call the action. And we have a stage for this show, a stage that's just scaffolding, which is pretty nice for 1990s WCW. Like, I think that's pretty good.
WCW always had a grand entrance, where meanwhile WWF didn't, and they had the elevated ramp a lot in WCW. That was like the only thing that for me set it apart in a positive way against WWF. Like I would watch it and be like, man, I wish WWF did something like that because that looks kind of cool. But yeah, like just because of the lighting and everything, it didn't pop, as much. But I always enjoyed those WCW entrance things. They made it just feel grand.
Yeah, but everything looked dark and dank too at the same time. It was
the
weird.
further you get to the ring, yeah.
Not to say having the lights out, on the fans and having the focus be on the ring, it's a bad thing. But it's just, like you said, it looks second rate compared to what WWF was looking like back in 1990, for sure. Mm-hmm. But we have our format, as we usually do. We have match of the night, worst match of the night, best non-wrestling happening, worst non-wrestling happening, hidden gems, best spot, worst spot, my dog spot, and, of course, random thoughts. Nick, I will start with you. What was your match of the night from Capital Combat from 1990?
Watching this show, I come away with one thought of what I'll remember about this show the most, and it's not RoboCop.
Oh.
It is. This show is basically a showcase of tag team wrestling.
There's so much tag team wrestling.
Quite a bit of tag team matches, and I'm going to pick one as my match of the night. It's going to be my two favorites at the time. When I first knew what WCW was and got these action figures and
Tommy Rich and Mike Rotunda?
Absolutely not. It was
sure?
my guy, the Z-Man, Tom Zank.
Oh.
And Flying Brian.
Flying Brian.
Those are two of my favorites when I first got into WCW. But they lost their NWA United States Tag Team titles to the Midnight Express, who, by the way, weren't supposed to even be in this match. But that's what happened. You got with Jim Cornette, with the Midnight Express. It is Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton, that version.
Yes.
And just classic tag team wrestling. A ton of arm drags, which I thought maybe was a bit at some point. Jim Cornette inside the shark cage, not above the ring though. It was in the aisle, getting shoved into there by Pillman and Zank. I thought that was funny. But, just classic tag team wrestling. You can't go wrong with it. Midnight Express in there, and Brian Pillman and Tom Zank were good. I liked all the tag matches on this night. It's the thing is, nothing pops out because Sting's injured. You don't have Ric Flair wrestling. Well, you do have Ric Flair wrestling.
You do.
That match was ridiculous, and we'll get into that later. But just this, the tag team wrestling is what I took away the most from that, and I thought that was the best tag team match on the card. A lot of good stuff there. It just felt like old school wrestling to me that these shows probably were known for back then.
So I had this match as my hidden gem, but I agree with you that it's a great match. It was a fun match to watch. They worked a pace that just not everybody worked at in 1990, for sure. I did love that Cornette was supposed to be in the cage, but he didn't initially get in, and then Flying Brian and the Z-Man chased him around the ring, and then once he gets inside of the ring, he's like, okay, I'm safe. The only problem was the referee was waiting for him in the ring, and he ran into Randy Anderson.
Dude.
And Randy Anderson clocked him.
He was here for it all night long, Randy Anderson. He was
Since when's Randy
in
Anderson just want the smoke, bro?
He did. That's what I was looking for. That was the phrase I was looking for. He wanted the smoke for 3+ hours, however long this was.
Bro, he decked Jim Cornette.
He did.
And it was stood over him like, what's up, Chuck? He got a taunting penalty.
He look bigger in these shows than he did like 1997, 98,
bro.
Randy Anderson. He looks taller and like, I don't know. Did he shrink? I don't know.
He stood over Jim Cornette and said, "This is my bike, punk." And it was like,
Chuck Bednarik,
bro,
man.
like, pretty much. And it was like, bro, you would have got a 15-yard penalty for taunting in the NFL today if you did that. But Jim Cornette got put in that damn cage. I'll tell you one thing. Okay? Because he hit him with the clothesline, and Z-Man and Flying Brian tossed him into the cage. So Randy Anderson got it done. At the end of the day, you may not like his methods of clotheslining managers, but he did it. He got it done. But yeah, like I said, the match was so fast-paced. Flying Brian and Tom Zink, they were dope together, man. Like, man, I wish they could have stayed together for a long time. Like, they were fun to watch. Yeah. I know, like, Pillman had success with Steve Austin eventually as the Hollywood Blondes, but, like, Flying Brian and the Z-Man, they were, like, they were kind of fun. They were, like, a little bit like the Midnight Rockers, but, like, yeah, they were good guys. They were super athletic. Like, I liked watching them. They were fun.
You know, like Pillman and Austin never. I don't believe they were ever baby faces. So
absolutely not.
I would watch them and be like, oh, I wish Brian was like a good guy because I liked him a lot. This Flying Brian. You know, you had the tiger like tights. You know, I guess for the Cincinnati Bengals or whatever. Now, that stood out. You know, the blonde hair stood out. And the funny thing is, back then I would always get upset at because I felt like blondes ran the world. You know, that's how I viewed everything because everybody loved blondes back then, no matter what they were, women, men, whatever. Like Joey McIntyre was blonde and New Kids on the Block, and my sister loved him. Everyone loved Brian Pillman because he was blonde. It's like, no, I think I'm gonna like Tom Zink because he's got dark hair. You know, like I think I'm gonna like Jordan McIntyre because Jordan, whatever his last name is, I don't remember. New Kids on the Block because he had black hair. Like I would always just root for whoever had darker hair because I was mad that everyone loved blondes, and obviously I wasn't blonde growing up, so I felt like maybe that was my first like view, or like I was like, hey, like I'm being discriminated against because of my dark hair. I don't know. Like I felt like no one loved me because everyone loved blondes back then, so I would get like angry about it at 5 years old, you know. So that was the reason why. Not that I didn't hate Brian Pillman, but like I was like, oh, if he's with Tom Zink, he's got to be a good dude, you know. Like whoever was like friends with the Z-Man was okay with me, you know.
That's funny. If you're good with the Z-Man, you are good with me. Z-Man is solid as they come. At one point,
funny, like how I remember that stuff.
Look, this is how it is. Z-Man was that guy back in the day. JR at one point in this match said that Brian Pillman had won the MAC Most Valuable Player of the Award twice. If you don't know, the MAC is the Mid-American Conference.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me, in college football. So he was sort of right. And again, I should go back. Let me rewind a second. The MAC, the Mid-American Conference, is what we would call, I guess, a mid-major or a group of five. I think they call it a group of five, a group of six now. I don't know how many conferences in that. But you have your power conferences in D1 college football, SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12, and sometimes the Pac-12. But the Mid-American Conference is not on that level, technically. But, excuse me, still D1, obviously. And JR was sort of right. He didn't win MVP of the MAC twice. He won Defensive Player of the Year once. Okay. Not MVP.
Well, you need that, wrestling tax.
Right. defensive player. Oh, I got more on this too. Woo, boy. Wait till I get to Mean Mark.
I knew you would come.
Wait till I get to Mean Mark when it comes to his basketball prowess. But, yes, Brian Pillman did win Defensive Player of the Year at the Miami of Ohio in 1983. He did not win it twice. He only won it once. But do you know who else won MAC Defensive Player of the Year at some point and throughout its history? I'll tell you. You know Khalil Mack. He was at Buffalo, and he won Defensive Player of the Year in the MAC. You remember Jason Babin?
Oh, God, yeah.
Played for the Eagles, and Eagles fans hate him. But
Why 9?
wide 9, baby. That's what he wanted to do. Rush the passer. Right? But you know who won the Mid-American Conference Defensive Player of the Year award in 1996?
1996.
You won't guess.
I won't. Was he an Eagle?
Nope.
No. Warren Sapp. No, he was Miami.
Nope.
Never mind.
Yeah. Nope. You won't guess. You can try, but you won't.
Does he have a tie?
Because I didn't believe it myself. No. It's just insane that it happened. The person who won the 1996 Mid-American Conference Defensive Player of the Year award in 1996 was a punter.
Oh, wow.
His name was Brad Maynard, who I saw when I looked up a list of like Defensive Player of the Years. You know, I got to verify this stuff that JR be saying. And Brian Pillman was there for 1983, and I saw 1996, and I saw Brad Maynard. I was like, that ain't the punter from the Bears, like from back in the day. That ain't him. I remember Brad Maynard. He didn't win no Defensive Player of the Year. And I looked into it some more. Yeah, no, that was him. It was Brad Maynard, who eventually went on to become an All-Pro in the NFL. But for whatever reason, the MAC had lumped in kickers and punters into the defensive players category for awards back in 1996. So Brad Maynard was such a great punter that he won the award because he was so good at being a punter that it was like, we got to give him something.
I guess that's
Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, and yeah, like you said, as a defense, if he's coffin cornering the team, the offense, that helps when he pins him deep inside their own territory. That's good. That helps the defense. But the thing is, he beat out Jason Taylor for the award. Jason Taylor is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm sure Jason Taylor and his family was like, what the hell? Yeah, from the Dolphins, an edge rusher. Yeah, great. All-time great. That's insane. But by 1998, they said, oh, we'll create a special teams award so we don't have this anymore. Because I'm sure people were pissed in the Mid-American Conference that like a punter won Defensive Player of the Year. But back to this tag team match. I thought the finish came out of nowhere, but it was to me it was a good old fashioned, just great tag team match. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't my match of the night though. I still had the main event. I have the steel cage match, Ric Flair versus Lex Luger. It was fun while it lasted. I know there was a lot of nonsense going on at the end. Don't get me wrong, okay? But when they were just wrestling, it was fun. And again, it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's Ric Flair defending against Lex Luger in the steel cage. In WCW steel cage 1990, which was massive. It surrounded the ring. It was essentially a Hell in a Cell. And it wasn't like an old school cage, like which is chain link, the cyclone fencing on the apron. This was on the floor. Totally different with a roof. Like, it was weird.
That's the thing. I don't think they used it a whole lot for just steel cage matches. Like they've used that type of cage over the years, but like they've had regular chain link fence steel cage matches before this and after this. So I don't know why they chose that one, but clear it was like, oh, the Andersons messing with the cage. You can't end a steel cage match in a disqualification. So that's why it disqualifies itself for me making it match. I thought, like, main event's probably going to be good. Luger and Flair, steel cage, like, sure, but you can't have a DQ in it, man.
That's fair. I look,
Plus, the
I
other
don't knock you
nonsense.
for that.
I was like, are we serious right now?
There was so much other nonsense in this match,
Like,
I will admit.
It's clearly like, okay, they're going to crown Sting. And they wound up doing it the next month, but
Yes.
Can't give Luger a token win here. Just to,
No.
Maybe the next night they can put it back on Flair. Or let a
No,
house show.
no.
I don't know.
I do miss this part of wrestling when the referee would check the wrestlers to see if they had foreign objects on them.
Yeah.
I think that should come back.
Well,
Instead of just plant weapons under the ring, so I guess it doesn't matter. So, but
yeah, so
like
they
you
checked the woman, right? With the he found
yes,
it.
she had something immediately. They found it. She didn't really do a good job of hiding it. Because Ric Flair, he was clean, but of course, it's like, no, check woman. She got something on her, and in fact, she did.
Which, by the way, I totally forgot that they were, together before the 95, 96, whenever they got together again, like Four Horsemen. Even before Benoit, I think woman was with Flair and Liz for a certain amount of time, but I totally forgot that they were together in the early 90s.
Yeah, this is a forgettable time, to be honest with you. But like you said earlier, the Horsemen come down and they're interfering, and then Sting comes down and fights them off, and then El Gigante is here. Because of course El Gigante is here.
The newest signee, apparently.
He's so tall. He's got to be good.
But he can't move quick.
Look how tall he is. They don't need to do.
All they can
fans
do
don't
is
need to
run
see
around
anything
him.
else.
They just need to run around him.
All the fans need to see how tall he is, and they'll buy the tickets. They don't need anything else. But he's here, and Sid is also here in a tuxedo, and does largely nothing. They're beating up his homies, and he's just standing there watching El Gigante and Sting tear through Arn Anderson, and who else is out there? It's Ole Anderson, right? Tear through him. And Sid is just out there looking mean. And then out from under the ring comes Barry Windham. And like you said, causes a disqualification in a cage match, which is rough. I will admit. I agree with you, but I thought the match before that was fine. Eventually, the Horsemen lock Luger in the cage, and then they beat the daylights out of him. It's all kinds of stuff. Then they raise the cage, and Sting and El Gigante come in, and Horsemen bail out, and a bloody Ric Flair, he's just yelling into the camera, and he retains the title due to disqualification. It is a hot mess, but that was my match of the night from Capital Combat. What was your worst match of the night, though, good sir, from Capital Combat?
Pretty easy. Slightly entertaining, but, the hair versus hair between Theodore Long and Paul Ellering. It's got to be the worst match, I guess, just by sheer technicality. But kudos to Teddy Long for being very, very funny on this night. There's a few times that made me laugh. Him grabbing the referee and hauling him backstage while he's hiding. That was a smooth move, man. He did a good job because that ref was hightailing it. Just having the funniest spot I think of this match. Teddy Long's wearing boxing gloves, right? Put boxing gloves on. Do you think if you try to eye rake somebody, you're gonna really pull that off?
I don't think so.
I couldn't suspend my disbelief for that one. I'm sorry. Paul Ellering selling that as an eye rake. I'm like, dude, he's wearing boxing gloves.
I mean, maybe they're sweaty and the sweat gets into your eye. Maybe there's stitching. Maybe the stitching on the glove can get into your eye. The stitching. I don't know. I don't know.
He should have no-sold it. And he's going to win anyway. Just no-sell it, man.
That's hilarious. They brought in a hairstylist named Jay Tapper for this match so he could cut the hair of the loser. Also, Teddy Long, kind of ripped. Didn't expect him to be kind of ripped, kind of jacked. And obviously Paul Ellering was, but I was like, Teddy, where did this come from? I did Teddy was tagging Ellering with the jabs. This is also my worst match of the night as well, but I have another one that we can talk about. But the announcers speculated that he had something in his gloves, that he had loaded gloves. Yeah. Eventually, Paul Ellering took a glove off of Teddy Long's hand, and in fact, it was loaded with something. And then he hit Teddy Long with the glove for the win. Because I guess there were no rules in this match.
I guess not.
Whatsoever. And then Jay Tapper got in the ring and then cut immediately cut Teddy Long's hair with clippers, and Teddy Long was looking rough for the rest of the night as a result. It was crazy. I would have never showed my face again after that, but there was Teddy Long out there for the tag team title match, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But another match I had on here as far as worst match of the night, an honorable mention, Samoan SWAT team versus Tommy Rich and Mike Rotunda. Yeah.
Probably the worst tag match, yeah. But, they apparently, the Samoan SWAT team was apparently supposed to be the team to face the Z-Man and Brian Pillman for those NWA U.S. tag team titles, but they didn't show up for a TV taping, and they wound up shooting the Midnight Express in that angle instead. So, but this was also supposed to be Samu and Fatu, because they were the Samoan SWAT team, and I guess Samu at this point was either fired or not working with them. So the Samoan Savage was in his place.
Yeah.
Well, I do not.
Rikishi's brother.
Is that the Tongan kid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the Tongan kid.
It looks familiar. I just wasn't. I didn't look it up at the time. Maybe I should have. But I was like, yeah, Samoan Savage. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. He is Jacob Fatu's father.
Wow.
Yeah, Samoan Savage. So it's Samoan Werewolf, Samoan Savage. There you go. Best non-wrestling happening. I didn't really have anything here. I feel like they got straight to the point pretty much as far as wrestling. But if you had something, by all means.
I have it, and we're going to listen to it.
Where have you been the past several years, huh? Where have you been since you left the NWA? We've been out there winning matches. The Midnight Express has been winning titles. Where have you been, huh?
Where have I been? I've been at 845 DeBerry Street in
No.
Kentucky.
No.
That's my mother's house.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm your daddy. What the hell?
Junkyard Dog is back in WCW.
Junkyard Dog is Jim Cornette's dad? That's insane.
That's my
Who would have
mother's
thought?
house.
That's what I'm saying. I'm your daddy.
What a way to find out that that's your daddy. That's what I'm saying. I'm your daddy. That's insane.
Just the lead up to it, Jim Cornette, masterful.
That's my mother's house.
Dog, even more masterful.
That's my mother's house.
That's what I'm saying. I'm your daddy.
He waits for Jim Cornette to put two and two together.
That's my mother's
insane.
house.
That's what I'm saying. I'm your daddy.
Oh, my God. And the fans go, yay! JYD is Jim Cornette's
That
dad.
was the greatest thing of this show. It was.
That's what I'm saying. I'm your daddy.
Like,
I think JYD
It came out
needs
of nowhere. Like, this is
JYD,
PG programming, right?
No.
The WCW is known for.
but he need to get a paternity test if Jim Cornette is his kid. I don't know. I need Maury here to say if you are or are not the father. Like I don't know. I need proof
It's
of
like
that.
Jim
but-
Cornette's not young here, so it's like, man, WCW brought back a really old JYD. Like, what the hell?
Nah, I'm your daddy. Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. I'm your daddy.
Just the delivery, man. Like, I was
And
cracking up.
Also, like the fans going, yes, makes it hilarious. He's your daddy. You just met your father. How traumatic. Yay. That's hilarious.
Too good. It was too
Too good. And JYD is back. And he got kids.
He did.
He
He
got
also,
kids.
It's funny because I was looking up the timeline of him coming back and then Mean Mark leaving to go to the WWF to become the Undertaker. Because he called out Mean Mark in his promo.
Yes, he did.
And I was like, it would be very, very funny if the Undertaker ducked JYD to go to WWF. But they did have a match. They did have at least one match. But
Look.
yeah, that would have been.
I'm gonna say
very
that my story is that he ducked him. So good Booker in AAA, but he ducked JYD back in 1990 for sure. Did that mean Mark Calloway. But again, more on him later. Worst non-wrestling happening. I think we might have the same thing. For me, It is everything involving RoboCop.
They did him dirty. They did that man, that robot dirty.
That man robot. Again, RoboCop, rated R movie. People get brutally murdered. There's so many themes and deep themes in this movie, and also, again, lots of satire. The different little commercials they would do.
Yeah, I was
the mock
confused
commercials.
at first, I was like, wait a second. Like, is this like an ad playing? Like, or what?
No, just hilarity from RoboCop. Or with the Sunblock 5000, where the lady's walking around with just blue sunblock on. That's an ozone layer joke, too. Look at that. But all that fun and adult content was tossed out of the window for WCW because he's just in the locker room with mechanical sounds in the background as Gordon Soley is waiting. He's positioned outside of the locker room all night, waiting to get a glimpse of the RoboCop as you hear pew, 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 like in the background, because he's just that's what robots do. They just be making sounds.
Just be beeping.
Beeping, beep, booping. Meep, mooping. That's what robots do. Especially RoboCops. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. That's all they got. That's what they do in their spare time. Even though in the movie, RoboCop never beeps nor boops. He talks because he's still a human being in the side of that. But no beep boops. Even when he's hooked up to like the system or whatever at the police station, and they got him under like in a sleep state or whatever, there's no beep boops. He's just be there.
There's no powering down sounds,
No, pew pew pew. None of that. But I guess before
if that were to happen, WCW would have had that ready.
I mean, look, 100%. I guess if before you like interfere in a match with Sting, you got to get all the latest upgrades. So he's in there up until the time it's time to leave to get all his stuff straight.
I wish we had an entrance video of him like arriving in a limo, the way they had other wrestlers.
He couldn't get out the car. He would not be able to get out the car. The suit was unwieldy. Okay, we can't do that. We can show him walking, but only if everything is wrong with the feed, because that's what happens. All right, he finally leaves the locker room, and then WCW's cameras starts mysteriously malfunctioning.
But only the backstage ones, not the
Yes.
ones inside the arena.
No, just the ones outside of RoboCop's locker room. As soon as he walks out, Golden Soley is great all night. He's there. I'm waiting for RoboCop to come out.
Was you think
I'm
he'd
still
rather
waiting.
be like doing play-by-play or
Probably.
this with RoboCop?
Gordon Soley is like, man, I called NWA World Heavyweight Championship matches where Harley raced back in the day. And now I'm here waiting for RoboCop. And the beep boops are beep booping behind me. What kind of Disneyland nonsense is this? This is pro wrestling, right? But he walks out, and all of a sudden, the cameras that are near his locker room can't function right. And you see like repetitive shots of him walking and his feet hitting the ground. And it's like, just say that you wanted to cover up the fact that this thing is unwieldy. Okay, just say it. Because it looked weird. It didn't make any sense. Why are the cameras messing up? Don't get
It's
it.
a robot.
They don't know how these things work.
Just the backstage ones, though, because once he gets in the arena, those cameras are fine.
Yeah, he walks out with Sting, and the cameras are good to go. Right? But the Horsemen lock Sting in Cornette's cage. It's still out there.
Somehow RoboCop and Sting get separated. Don't know
Yeah,
how.
somehow.
Why
They
did
walk
Sting
out
come
together.
like, you know?
They walk out together, but Sting gets locked in the cage because Cornette, for the tag title match he was in, was supposed to be locked in the cage so he would not be able to
I
help
love how
the
they
Midnight
highlighted
Express.
that they moved it to the side, though. Like, we're moving it to the side, so it's not in the aisle.
Like, I don't know, but RoboCop slowly saunters to the ring, and then he goes back to save Sting, and he just rips the door of the cage off its hinges, and the Horsemen are shook. They're like, oh, hell no, let's get the hell up out of here. And they got up out of there. But it was terrible. That might have hurt ticket sales for RoboCop. It might have done the opposite effect.
Maybe. I thought the betting at the bars and stuff was so cheesy. Like, it's like clearly like paper mache, you know? That's what it really looked like. Like,
man.
Oh, come on, man.
He definitely bent the bars and then tore the door off.
Yeah.
It's immediately clank. Give me this door.
Listen,
We've never seen RoboCop have those feats of strength in the movie.
Right.
He usually just shoots people. Right between the eyes. Pow! That's RoboCop style. Pull the pistol out from his holster, shoot you. Not rip the door off. But I guess you can't shoot people in
it reminded
WCW.
me. It reminded me of Kane, Bad Blood, '97. I don't think we're gonna get something that looked as cool as Kane ripping the door off his henches in that moment. You know, whatever it's going to happen in wrestling again. I don't think anything. Mark Henry did it, right? But I don't know. Nothing
maybe,
looked as cool as Kane doing it with like the lock there and everything. Like, I don't know. Just him ripping that door off, and I see like other angles of people ripping doors off, and I'm like, not as good. Sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, that's what happened. RoboCop. That was terrible.
And then Sting and like RoboCop had bet to the back together. It's just like,
right.
Okay, Sting's on TV, yay.
We came out, beat some people up. Now let's get back here and hang out some more. That's all. Another non-wrestling happening I thought was really bad was Scott Steiner's promo.
Hey, you want me to play it?
Absolutely. Because it was terrible.
Tonight, putting the titles up against Doom.
You know, Doom's a tough team. But they got that Teddy Long too. So we got to work for a lot of
Rick.
things out there. Me and my brother, we prepared for this match, and we're gonna do whatever we have to do to win.
Both of them were pretty bad.
You know, Tony Schiavone, when me and my brother were growing up,
Tony
we
Schiavone.
went through a lot together. And we
Lord.
were in college on our way to becoming All-Americans. We won a lot of matches together. But
Yep.
there was a few matches that we lost.
Oh.
Yep.
But believe me, when it was time to wrestle the Steiner brothers, that line was very short. But believe me, nobody's unbeatable and nobody's invincible.
Okay.
Dude, you want a match with us? Well, you're not going to get one.
What?
Because we came to Washington, D.C. to suplex you on your head.
Oh.
He came here to give you a clothesline. And when it's all
Clothesline.
said and done, and the smoke's clear, you're going to be like everybody else. Beat up.
Oh, beat up.
Got to be in the
Man, that
running
was
for one of his worst promos ever, right?
One of the worst, bro. That ain't Big Papa Pump. Thank goodness he got better. Because that was rough.
Both of them sounded like maybe not themselves, perhaps.
This was not their first skill.
Not, perhaps they were just not themselves. I'm not insinuating anything. But that's what it sounded like.
Oh, it was bad. It was real bad.
He said, you came here for a match? Well, you're not going to get one. I was like, but you're literally going to face them in a match. So it makes me think, like, again, flub probably. Maybe he said, he's like, well, you're going to get one. Would have made sense. But maybe he was trying to say, well, you're no match for us.
It was
But
bad.
it did not come across that way at all.
He did not land the plane properly
did
whatsoever.
Rick
let's
didn't
move
set
on.
him up well either.
He did not. Yeah, he's not a good leadoff hitter.
They got that
Let's say
Teddy Long, too. Like,
Teddy Long, too.
what's that got to do with anything?
But speaking of, I did have the World Tag Team title match between the Steiners and Doom as another hidden gem. I did like Rick Steiner snatching Teddy Long's do-rag to reveal his newfound cul-de-sac in the back of his head. Also like Teddy Long's zebra do-rag. Kind of fire. I'm not a do-rag, like wearing do-rags in the street kind of guy, but like, okay, I see the swag. Also, we don't talk about Teddy Long's swag or drip enough. Like, he had a do-rag for every occasion, bro. He had a purple one, he had a zebra one, and a leopard one. Like, he had do-rags for every occasion. The finish wasn't great to that match, but I think it was still a good match. And, of course, Doom, they're World Tag Team champs, so good for them.
They
They win.
Well, I always thought it's funny because we make fun of Vince McMahon, like changing names so viewers won't get confused if there are similar names for people. I got confused from Legion of Doom and Doom. I was like, wait a second, they can't have Doom in like 2 team names. Like, that's crazy.
Wait. Get confused between Doom and Legion of Doom?
I used to think
To me, there's no confusion.
No, not the wrestlers themselves. I
Oh,
used
you're
to
talking about the
think
name. Okay.
Teddy Long with Butch Reed and Ron Simmons was the Legion of Doom. You know, I would get that confused with the Road Warriors, who I thought were like just Doom sometimes. Like, I'd be like, wait, so which one is Doom? Like, I would, because I wouldn't look like on the screen. You know, I had like the cards and everything, and I was like, wait a second, like this is Doom, but the Legion of Doom are in WWF. What? And they actually referred to the Road Warriors on this show as the Legion of Doom, which I thought was a WWF name, but they had that name before they even went to the WWF. So yeah, I remember like when I was younger and I would watch this, you know, here and there, not as much as WWF, but I'd be like, what? Like, so I was like, I guess the person Vince was targeting to make sure I didn't get confused.
I mean, you were a child, so that makes sense. He was essentially catering the product to your demographic. It does make sense. Best spot. I didn't have anything for best spot, but I did like the Midnight Express rocket launcher. I thought that was fun. What was your best spot?
My best spot got an 8.2 on the Slam-O-Meter.
Oh my god!
Do you know what that is?
The Slam-O-Meter. What was it? I definitely took note of the Slam-O-Meter.
Not
the Slam-O-Meter.
Elbow drop.
Oh
rope,
god!
Right?
Get out of here.
He
An
went on the rope.
8.2.
He did old school without holding the hand and everything.
That is true. I'll give him credit. It did register an 8.2. No word on the science behind any of this scale.
Not at all.
No word on that, but 8.2. So all right, I'll concede that. I'll give that.
I'm assuming that's out of 10. So
yeah, I would assume. So still more to go. I would give him an 8.2. They didn't do it the rest of the night. They didn't even do it during the main
they
event.
didn't. So it must have nothing registered.
What are we doing here? And also, the highest thing that was registered was 8.2. It should have been like 11. So you get 10. Just break the scale. If I'm WCW, no, 8.2, guys. That's it.
8.2.
Just 8.2.
They couldn't give him like a 9.5, you know?
Something substantial, something meaningful. 9.9. I don't know.
They knew he was on his way out. Like,
Maybe.
know what? In a few months he's going to be over there anyway.
Job him out with the Slam-O-Meter.
It progressively gets lower every single
right. He did it 7.4 next week. He's like, wait a second.
2.5 up. All right, he's gone.
He's get him out. Get him out. He's not going to be anybody. All right. Let's see. We did best spot. What about worst spot? I have just RoboCop saving Sting in general.
Yeah.
But what did you have?
The Teddy Long raking the Paul Ellering's eyes with the box.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Not a ton of
That's
like
hilarious.
terrible wrestling spots, and for as much wrestling as there were, just it was kind of old school wrestling stuff that I liked. Most of it made sense. Nothing really stood out. I mean, the RoboCop thing, pretty bad, but in the confines of the ring, I'll go with Teddy Long raking the eyes with boxing gloves on.
Oh boy. Yeah. So that's that. Let's move on to random thoughts. I'll start it off with Norman the Lunatic.
Oh boy.
You know what they called Norman the Lunatic today?
I know what they called him in 1993.
Well, what did they call him in 1993?
Bastion Booger.
Well, they'd say he's on the spectrum today. They just didn't have research to diagnose him yet. So,
They got
lunatic
rid of the
it is.
They got rid of the lunatic part at this, like shortly after this.
Lunatic it is. I'm sure that wasn't the best taste in the world.
Well, it's weird because
maybe they got some pressure.
Well, Dean Ambrose was the lunatic fringe, so
That is true. That is true. But Norman's behavior was a little more erratic than Dean Ambrose's attitude and behavior. But if you ask certain people, autism has skyrocketed in recent years, or did they just not have the wherewithal to diagnose it back in 1990? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I think the latter is true. But the Road Warriors, they rode in on motorcycles. No word on who drove them, without shoulder pads, but with bikers. No word of who those drivers were, by the way. They could have been real bikers for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. What are the notes that I have? I put down that Johnny Ace is a dweeb. JR called him very popular, but he received like pretty much a non-pop, like the opposite of a pop. His music was also trash, but the mullet was on point. His mullet was pretty immaculate. But he's going one-on-one with The Undertaker. I mean, Mean Mark Callis.
It's just Mean Mark. It's just Mean Mark.
Mean Mark.
They don't even want the Callis there anymore.
Right. Who's with Teddy Long, of all people.
Just barely.
One-on-one with Mean Mark.
Teddy Long didn't come out with him. Do you notice that?
Oh, I did not.
He was late. Like, he ran from behind and hit him up. Like, you don't see him running from behind, but you see Mean Mark coming out. And Gary Michael Capetta says, Mean Mark with Teddy Long, or like that Teddy Long's accompanied by Teddy Long, whatever he said. But it's just Mean Mark. There's no Teddy Long there. And by the time Mean Mark gets close to the ring, you see like the end of Teddy Long's run. Like, I guess he was sprinting down the aisle to catch up with Mean Mark, and he kind of like gives like a smile, like, I'm here, like I didn't forget about you. That's how I took it. I thought that was kind of funny. Maybe he like missed his spot, or he was too late getting something done backstage, and he came back out with Mean Mark. I thought that was a funny thing.
There you go. Good old Teddy Long, who was shaved, not totally bald, but somewhat bald during Capital Combat.
He was like a highlight of this night.
He was pretty good. I did enjoy me some Teddy Long content. JR at one point during the Mean Mark match said that Mean Mark Callis, the Undertaker, was named Player of the Year in the Lone Star Conference in 1986.
He did.
So you know me, I gotta look into it, right?
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Now, I'm familiar with the Lone Star Conference, as I went to a Division II school in IUP. We play at IUP, play in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, or better known as the PSAC. Some people call it the PSAC, but I call it the PSAC. But the Lone Star Conference is a Division II conference. So I'm like, I know the Lone Star Conference, okay. So I look into what JR said, because a conference at that level definitely has the info listed of who has won their Player of the Year. Hell, the school would too. The school he went to, which was apparently, according to JR, Texas Wesleyan.
Okay.
Right? So I go to the Lone Star Conference's website, and it says someone by the name of Keith Scales from Abilene Christian won Player of the Year in 1986. Not Mark Calloway. As a matter of fact, I looked into Texas Wesleyan's website and only saw Mark Calloway listed under the all-time roster. Nothing else.
Huh.
So I decided to look even further. Not only did Mark Calloway not win Player of the Year of the Lone Star Conference in 1986, Texas Wesleyan never even played in the Lone Star Conference by that point. Now, according to Fort Worth Inc., Incorporated, whatever, I'm not sure if it's accuracy, but it's the best I could find as far as information. The school has just recently begun the process of being in Division II, and they will, in fact, play in the Lone Star Conference. But right now, they are in the NAIA, which is not the NCAA. That is outside of the NCAA. It's a separate entity. But the school's move, again, to Division II would, in fact, put Texas Wesleyan in the Lone Star Conference, which is home to a bunch of other schools in Texas that they don't have to spend an arm and a leg to travel to for games, unlike the situation currently in the NAIA. The story does mention that Texas Wesleyan did, in fact, play in Division II. Not in the Lone Star Conference, but in the Heartland Conference. I'm not familiar with this conference. But That didn't happen until 1999. Well after The Undertaker left the school. Okay. Well after.
His corporate ministry days.
Maybe. He still had some eligibility left, and he was out here hooping. He didn't need NIL. He was on the road. He had money. But he was on his spare time just out here hooping. The Ministry of Darkness is taking over Division II basketball.
Wednesdays, Fridays.
Look, that's what he was on, right? So, yeah, interesting stuff there from JR saying he's a two-time or whatever player of the year, or player of the year in 1986.
Nobody had
No, he wasn't.
Google back in 1990, I guess.
Right, so you can just believe it. You can just believe whatever Mark Calloway tells you. Oh, yeah, we'll play of the year that
Jim
one
Ross
year.
tells you.
Right. Maybe he just made it up. Maybe Mark Calloway didn't lie to him. I won player of the year one year, 1986. Yep.
I can see like Jim Ross knowing like certain people that played, college sports or whatever, saying like, hey, just write down some accolades that I can say on the air for like each wrestler.
I'm
maybe
sure, but
maybe it came from me, Mark. We don't know.
somebody lied at some point. I don't know where between the ideation and the time JR said it, but somebody got it wrong. Okay. But me and Mark, he wanted a heart punch and an elbow, like he said, from the top rope. And that was we played on a slam-o-meter, of course, for an 8.2. But Bob Caudle said some wild things during the show. Because he said that Teddy Long, if he got his hair cut, if he was completely shaved bald, would look like a skinhead. I was like, okay. That's a way to put it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a way to put it for a black man. But all right, fine. I guess technically he's not wrong, but like phrasing, sir. Think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying, and who you're saying it to, or who you're saying it about. Either one. Doug Furness cut a promo at one point.
Did.
It wasn't good.
The was it this world's strongest man?
That's what they said. I don't know that to be true. Also, we had
that dude looks familiar.
terrible promo, but Sting followed him up, and he was much better than Doug Furness, I should say. Not Furness. Nick, did you have any random thoughts from Capital Combat?
Man. Yeah, Sting, tried it. I guess they were like, you got to go out there, man, save whatever crap you did with RoboCop, man. But I'm sure he was scheduled to go out there anyway, regardless. But Sid Vicious, man, did nothing all night, but he's out here in a tuxedo, and it's cracking me up. Only one in a tuxedo, the Four Horsemen, by the way.
Yeah, he looked strange.
And I guess he's supposed to look ominous, but I just laughed. And just interesting seeing how many people on this show would be in the WWF in like less than a year and a little over a year from now. You had obviously The Undertaker. There are a few others, but maybe not a few others, but Sid is one of them. He would be in the WWF, summer of 91. Ric Flair would come over same time as Sid, basically. Late summer 91, September 91. It's just interesting seeing how in like less than a year, Mike Rotunda would be there, and, as IRS about a year later. So it's just interesting seeing that type of stuff. Mike Rotunda, by the way, do you think he would prefer the IRS gimmick or the boat captain gimmick?
Boat captain gimmick. I think
What would
it'd
you
be
prefer?
IRS.
What would you
I think
prefer?
it'd be I mean, if you give me the benefit of hindsight, I would say IRS, but boat captain could be fun. It depends
you
on
get
the
no
vignettes.
heat as a boat captain. What do you think? People are going to laugh at you and be like, the Titanic, you suck.
I would imagine, yeah.
But it's a lot easier to be, like an IRS guy as a heel, I guess. I would think, right?
Yeah, because everybody hates the IRS, so that's just how it is. Even the president hates the IRS. He's suing him. So literally everybody hates the IRS, bro.
But like I saw him with the hat. I was like, wait a second. Like I totally didn't realize he was a boat captain. You know, like I thought Mike Rotunda was just Mike Rotunda, but
Look,
some of
Kevin
these
Nash
gimmicks,
was
man.
Oz.
Listen, I get it.
You know,
It's
it
still
just
goofy
happens.
as hell.
Yeah.
You know
You're
what
right.
else is goofy as hell? Bam Bam Bigelow, whatever the hell he was wearing. That was one of the worst wrestling outfits I've ever seen.
Damn.
What are they supposed to be? Like comet balls?
I don't know. Fireballs, I
they're
guess?
they're not the flames that we see in the WWF with his bodysuit, you know, like that looked cool as a concept. You know, the yellow and orange flames, even when they put the purple in there, like it looked really, really cool. Whatever the hell he's wearing here is the complete opposite of cool. And I'm just surprised they let him wear that. I'm surprised he wore it. You know, it's just like Bam Bam Bigelow, man, like Beast from the East. You know, I totally forgot he was in WCW at this point. And, you know, he clearly didn't do anything to impress anybody. He was back in WWF, you know, the next year. Maybe not 91. It was like 92 when he came back, the end of 92. So it's still like ways away for him to be back. But he wasn't wearing that. So that was, you know, better. You know, whatever he wore. And even the all gray Bam Bam Bigelow, man. Remember that? When the flames were just gray? Like, even that was better
I think so,
than
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
the hell this was. So,
He's still figuring it out. It's still early. It's 1990.
man, whatever.
Maybe not that early. He was in WWF, I think, in late 80s. So,
He was. And
Not that
not
early.
wearing this, by the way.
no, he was not.
He was in that Survivor Series match with, like, Hogan and Andre. I think he was the one pinned by Andre. You know, so. But not wearing that. We have here Gary Michael Capetta tried to announce the winner of the Capital Combat 90 sweepstakes
I don't
as
remember.
Mike Rotunda is like coming down the aisle. I think it was Mike Rotunda. It might have been Johnny Ace. But he gets cut off by, like, I guess the theme music. And they wind up pushing him announcing the winners of the sweepstakes to the beginning of the next match. Oh, I think it was before the haircut match or hair versus hair match. But he was going to announce the winners of the sweepstakes and then doesn't. And I was like, did his mic cut out or something? Like,
The winners are no one.
basically.
Here comes Mike Rotunda. Love some Gary Michael Capetta.
I did.
The Z-Man.
JR had a great line during the Freebirds and Rock and Roll Express match, by the way. They were, you know, we didn't even talk about this match. Fine, you know, match for a wrestling pay-per-view. They had the straps, you know, the Rock and Roll Express strapping the heck out of the Fabulous Freebirds, and JR says,
Oh,
the
boy.
feathers are literally flying.
Oh, boy. The thing is that what you just said and what he said can be paired together and be like, wow, you said a lot right then and there. Somebody strapping somebody else. Whoa. We gotta give a trigger warning for people. Might be kids listening to this. And there's feathers flying everywhere. What's happening in this scene here?
The
This is
Freebirds, man. The feathers are flying everywhere.
I mean, yeah, they free. They were real free, carefree, getting strapped down. That's insane.
I mentioned all those talents leaving for the WWF. I didn't even mention the Legion of Doom. They would be in the WWF literally 2 months from now. So that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of exits from WCW after this show to the
Not
WWF.
surprised.
Right.
Not surprised. Given
and
what we
Bastion
saw.
Booger was one of them as well.
There you go. He said, "I'd rather be Bastion Booger than Norman the Lunatic any day.
Dude,
Get
the
me out of
Headshrinkers.
here."
Samu and Fatu would be going to WWF. shortly
Oh my
after this.
God.
I shouldn't say shortly. I think it was 92. So it was like still 2 years away. But, you know, a lot of like familiar faces that are like, I remember the first time I ever saw them was on WWF TV. So, but also Randy Anderson, man, we said like he wasn't here for the nonsense. You know, the during the first match, Fatu and Samu, well, not the first match. It was like their match. Fatu and the Samoan Savage switch places while with Randy Anderson's back turned. And Randy turns around. He does like a double take. And before the switch, the Samoan Savage is complaining about, someone grabbing his hair. Who did they wrestle? Who did they even wrestle? I'm looking. Who the hell did they wrestle? Tommy Rich.
The SWAT team? Yeah.
Tommy Rich and Mike Rotunda. So the Samoan Savage is complaining about one of those two grabbing his hair. They do the switch. Randy Anderson looks back. He does like a double take. And then Fatu's the one complaining about someone grabbing his hair. I was like, this is the pro wrestling I'm here for. Like, trying to fool the ref, with something that's funny, but it's believable. Like, Randy knows, he's like, wait a second, you're not the person that was in here like 5 seconds ago, right? But they're still complaining about the same exact thing. I don't know. Like, it just stood out to me. I thought it was one of the better things of the night. It just made me laugh. It's like Randy Anderson knows something's afoot, but he can't prove it because Fatu is complaining about the same thing that Samoan Savage did. So maybe Randy thinks he's going insane or something. It's like one of those things where you watch that back, you're going to laugh. I think you're just going to laugh at how Randy Anderson handles the whole thing because he's just like hilarious on this night. Just one thing like that. And then Randy Anderson makes the Samoan Savage get out of the ring later in the match. Fatu comes back in, but because he didn't see the tag. And it's just like, as a matter of fact, it's like, okay, Fatu gets in the ring, Samoan Savage goes on the apron, and they just tag right in front of his eyes, so he sees this. Like, just like little things like that. Just Randy Anderson, man, he had a great night as a referee, man. He had a great night. I loved it. Obviously, the thing, like at the end of I believe it was the beginning, the first match, Hawk does his clothesline to Kevin Sullivan, pins him for the 1, 2, 3. Randy Anderson puts his hand on Hawk's back as he's making the count. Like, he's literally pushing him down. I guess, like, obviously, the ring is small.
Get down.
You have somebody else, think Animals in there wrestling with somebody else. And so he's obviously trying to, like, maneuver so he can make the count. But his hand's literally on top of Hawk. He is pushing Hawk down onto Kevin Sullivan, causing, like, the pin, like, as he's counting it. Just, like, little things like that you just don't, you never saw stuff like that in wrestling. Like, even back then, I don't remember seeing that ever in WWF. It's just these different things are entertaining to me. It's just entertaining to me. So, Randy Anderson, man, he was, like, I think the MVP of the night for me.
He was wild. Clotheslining people, getting all sorts of stuff. But that is Capital Combat, Return of RoboCop from 1990. So, Nick, take us out with some plugs, please.
Follow me at _Piccone on Twitter and TikTok. You can follow me at Piccone Nick on Threads and at Piccone on Blue Sky. You can follow us at Shooters Radio on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and we're at shootersradio.com and shooterspod.com. You can check me out at crossingbroad.com as well.
All right. I am at Vaughn M. Johnson on X, at Vaughn Johnson 166 on IG, at Vaughn Johnson on Blue Sky and Threads. You can check me out there. I think I'm on actually at Vaughn Johnson 166 on Blue Sky too. No, on Blue Sky on Threads as well. But you can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/shootersradio, where you can request a future deep dive just like this one. And when you do, you can make a cameo on the show that we're diving deep into. Once again, patreon.com/shootersradio. But until next time, for Nick Piccone, I'm Vaughn Johnson. Thanks for listening to episode 466 of The Straight Shooters, and we'll catch y'all again next week.
Peace.
Hey, Clavis! Wake up! The show's over. Oh, yeah! Kick it!